Hello, New York Giants fans, and welcome to your Giants News Roundup for Monday, April 18. I'm your host, Ed Valentine of Big Blue View. Please remember to like and subscribe to our channel here to show us a little bit of love as we try to keep you guys informed as to what's going on with your favorite NFL team, the New York Giants. Just wanted to use today to talk about the version 7 of my weekly NFL Giants only mock draft. This one, a 6-round mock draft. I do these each week, not necessarily to be correct, although next week I will take my best shot at how I think the draft may actually play out for the Giants. That'll be my final mock draft before the real deal happens a week and a half from now. But what I try to do with these is I try to paint scenarios. I try to create discussion. I try to bring about conversation about different players, about different ways that the draft could unfold. And what I tried to explore on Sunday was the possibility of something that's been talked about quite a bit recently, and that's the idea of the New Orleans Saints, who have picks 16 and 19 in round one, trading up to number 5 with the Giants. Now, I have said multiple times at bigblueview.com and probably here on the podcast and here on YouTube as well, this is not my favorite scenario. If the Giants are going to trade out of number 5 or number 7, I really, really hope that first-year GM Joe Schoen is able to acquire a 2023 first-round draft choice. That because the Giants may be in a situation a year from now, as all Giants fans know, they may be in a situation where they're looking for a new quarterback. If they decide that Daniel Jones is not the guy they want to go forward with, they could be in the market for a new quarterback a year from now. Being able to acquire a second first-round pick heading into that draft would give the Giants the flexibility to perhaps package 2 first-round picks, move up to get the quarterback of their choice. And I don't want to speculate on who that might be at this point, but the second first-round pick in 2023 could be a really, really valuable thing for the Giants, especially if they're in the quarterback market, which more than likely they probably will be, as much as I think many of us would really like to see Daniel Jones succeed. I think that it's probable at this point that the Giants will be back in that market a year from now. So I really hope that if they move around on the board, that the Giants are able to set themselves up with a good opportunity to do that in the 2023 NFL draft. Anyway, what I wanted to do is explore this scenario, see what kind of trade would be viable. I used the NFL mock draft database simulator, and in order to get 16 and 19 in exchange for 5 from New Orleans Saints, I also had to add the pick number 81, the Giants' second pick in the 3rd round, in order to level out the point value and make this trade go through. Now, I don't feel really good about having had to do that. I wish I didn't have to do that, but I wanted the first round scenario. So I went ahead and made that trade. I would hope that the Giants wouldn't have to do that in a real scenario, but we'll see. Anyway, that's what I had to do. I had to give up 5 and 81 to get 16 and 19. And the way that this played out, when I got to 7, Evan Neal, Ike Ekwonu, and Sauce Gardner, really my 3 top picks for the Giants were all off the board. So too actually was Kayvon Thibodeaux, the edge rusher from Oregon, who has been connected to the Giants quite a bit. So what I did here at 7 is I took Charles Cross, offensive tackle from Mississippi State. When I think about Joe Schoen's 7 for 7, wanting to be really comfortable with 7 players on his board for the first 7 picks, I really think Charles Cross has to be on that list. Even if you do consider him offensive tackle 3, I think he's easily, especially for the Giants who really, really need a top tier tackle to pair with Andrew Thomas. I think that Charles Cross has to be on that list. And I think that Charles Cross is an excellent pick here for the Giants. The only other real option that I had perhaps at this point was, perhaps to go with Sauce Gardner, but I chose in this case to take the offensive tackle, to build the offensive line, and to try in the end to give the Giants bookends on the offensive line, and finally, take a huge step toward fixing that situation. At 16, I ended up taking Kenyon Green, guard from Texas A&M. Other players in consideration there were Iowa center Tyler Linderbaum, perhaps USC wide receiver Drake London, linebackers Devin Lloyd and Nakobe Dean. Also considered Clemson cornerback Andrew Booth and Boston College guard Zion Johnson. Really, the biggest decision there for me was between Linderbaum and Green. And I just felt like Green is plug and play at the left guard spot. Felt really good about that. Big question right now as to who the Giants would use there with Ben Bredesen and Shane Lemieux and Max Garcia, perhaps all competing for that job. Feel like the Giants signed John Feliciano, a player that this coaching staff, that this front office really trusts. Feel like the Giants want to give Feliciano an opportunity there. Right now, I felt like left guard was the bigger question. The other question that I have with Linderbaum is I just don't know what the Giants offense is going to look like. I don't know what they're going to be asking from a center. And Linderbaum, as good a player as he is considered a player who might have a little bit of scheme deficiency or be a little bit scheme dependent. So without really knowing exactly what the Giants are going to be asking from the center position in their offensive scheme, I wasn't 100% comfortable with Linderbaum. So the choice was Kenyon Green. At 19, having missed out on Sauce Gardner, who I think is the best cornerback in this draft, I took Andrew Booth, the cornerback from Clemson, a guy with solid man-to-man coverage ability. A lot of the measurables I think that Wink Martindale, Giants defensive coordinator, would like. I continue to believe that Martindale's defense is more dependent on quality cornerbacks than it is on big-time premier edge rushers. So really, really happy to land a quality cornerback here. I'll go through the rest of the picks. At round 2, number 36, I took Arnold Ebiketie, edge rusher from Penn State. Round 3, 67th overall pick, I took Alec Pierce, wide receiver from Cincinnati. Really like the value of that pick right there. A big wide receiver, guy that can really jump, can go get the ball, can high point the ball, strong hands, pretty good route runner, can get off the press. Guy that I really like in that spot. Obviously had traded the pick at number 81. So my next pick is in round 4, number 112. Took Jeremy Ruckert, tight end from Ohio State, guy who I think won't be a dynamic receiver as the tight end position, but will be a reliable one and should be able to handle blocking responsibilities. Took Jerome Ford, running back from Cincinnati, in round 5 at number 147. added another tight end at 173 in the 5th round. That's Charlie Kolar from Iowa State. Hadn't intended to double up on tight end, just kept coming back to Kolar's name. Very productive guy at Ohio State, guy who I thought was solid value at this point in the draft. And we'll see, if the Giants were to draft Ruckert and Kolar, you put those guys in competition as day 3 picks and you see what happens. And my final pick, not a sexy pick, not an exciting pick, round 6, number 182, took Jesse Luketa, linebacker from Penn State, guy who has some good measurables, some good traits, guy who's probably a developmental linebacker, guy who's aggressive, got some pretty good speed, good tackler, should really be able to contribute on special teams and perhaps develop into a player who could see the field eventually on defense. All right, that's my mock draft for this week, version 7.0 of the mock, and there will be one more before the real draft comes along. And we'll have plenty of coverage for you at bigblueview.com as we continue profiling players. We're up to more than 90 profiles. We continue to give you features and scenarios and all the draft coverage, all the draft rumors, all the mock draft information and analysis that we can to get you guys prepared for the 2022 NFL draft, which is now about a week and a half away. All right, Giants fans, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.